Today we'll continue make prints from my Copenhagen trip in November 2021. I will print maybe one, maybe several of prints from my medium format camera Hasselblad 501C, and I also will make the new batch of chemistry for RA4, and I almost gone from the color developer, so I probably developed 45 to 50 sheets, so 50 rotations in my drum. So it's about the time when I need a new chemistry. And I also will make this funny apron for my darkroom. So I'm trying to improve a bit my chemicals, a little bit my skills, also some, appliance in my darkroom, and also video quality. So let's start with my darkroom apron. So I still have a patch from my Secret Santa. And this film not dead patch, also glowing in the dark, so which is fun for darkroom. And I hope it's not so intense, like it will fog my paper or something like this. But I think the just luminescence not really intensive enough. And I also have a place for these two pins. Unfortunately, I don't really print and shoot in black and white, but anyway, it's a quite nice touch on my apron. And as I said before, let's start with the mixing chemistry. So I have a kit from Tetanol for 5 liters, and I need to dilute in a clean bottles the 500 milliliters of each solution. So in principle it's quite simple. I have a solution A and solution B for each stock, so I have a color developer and the Blix Fix. And to dilute it properly, I have a measuring cylinder. Unfortunately, it's a plastic one, but it's better if it's plastic for longer storage, because precision here, it's not really important, so you can be off like half milliliter or like quarter of milliliter or something like this. But at least try to be precise and consistent. And anyway, you can recalibrate your time of development. And for bleach fix, it's also not so important because the process goes just to the end. So I'm dosing 50 milliliters of each solution inside the deionized water, and I still can reuse these chemicals. In the manual it says actually you can use it only for whatever month, like 2-3, but honestly I never have a problem with it. Probably it's affects something, like it's not ideal color, but if it's not for one person like darkroom artisan, it's not really sensitive. So at least experiment and be careful with your craft, so do it consistently and check by eye and really push the limits of what it's actually written inside the manual. And after mixing second component of the bleach fix, we almost done, so I can just pour it back in a big bottle. And usually I put the mixture in a hot water to preheat it a little bit before introducing circulator. And after circulator, I put it on a 36 degrees and constantly keep this temperature while developing to bring up the chemistry up to the temperature after development. For next prints, I have a series of night shots. Some of them made with a tripod and some of them on 1/30th of the second with the cable release. So this is a small sneak peek on the next 2 frames, which I will post in new videos. So let's go for the first one and start printing. Let's carefully load it in a carrier and try to align it in the middle of the frame. Because I have a 6x6 box in the enlarger, it's important to put it in the middle of the frame. But anyway, after you insert it inside, you can also realign it with the pilot light on. Because sometimes you care about the borders and sometimes it's not in the middle of illumination. And now I want to focus on a grain on this picture and check if we have a sharpness. Also, because it's a night shot, it's quite tricky to get a sharpness, especially with the medium format camera, with the handheld, with such a low shutter speed. I will put diaphragm from the beginning on F11, and from there let's start calibrating and put the diffuser on. I need to place sensitive head in the middle of the exposure and find the proper position with the maximum intensity on the cyan channel. And after this procedure, I just dial in the parameters on my exposure head and continue with the test prints on my bed paper. After a quick 10-second exposure, I have a loaded drum and I just want to check the temperature. It should be 35 degrees already. Usually on the first test print I always check the temperature, because sometimes it can be off by a half degree or something like this. And the development is a simple procedure, so I start with the freshly made color developer. I run it for 45 seconds And this solution is also reusable, so you can put it back in the bottle and use it multiple times. And after bleach fix, we can open the tank and check our first test strip. On a wet print, I can see it's quite good with the exposure and actually with the colors. So let's quickly dry it and check the final result of our test print. For my taste, it's a little bit bright because it was close to the night and I have a lot of lights from the background. Still blue sky, but no ambient light whatsoever. But after adjusting my calibration last time, I have a good color balance, so I can move for the next prints, and I will just put the settings what I have on PhotoHead in my lab book. Writing down the first step is quite important, so let's move to the test printer and make test exposures with a different time. So I used 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and so on with a step of 5 seconds. You can go with the two different methods. You can choose the diaphragm or time, but because I'm not too far off from right exposure, I just run it with the time. And let's go with the color developer, rotate it for 45 seconds, and after it put it back in the bottle and start with the bleach fix, and also make 45 seconds development with a constant rotation in both directions. And you also can put several prints in one drum. So let's check results what we have after a few minutes of development. Because I selected the range close to the absolute darkness, so the back of the girl on the bike and the white spot, I can decide on the amount of details what I want to see on the print and how dark's important for me in this print. On a test strip, I usually put all the settings with the naming what I changed, like time, cyan filter or magenta filter. And I tape it directly in my lab book, and usually you can put also notes and go back with these settings. And I stopped on 15 seconds, so let's go and make the final print. When we have loaded print in a drum, we can continue with the same procedure, so increase the number of developments, put in a cup drum, color developer, rotate for 45 seconds, and repeat the same operation for bleach fix. And after it's done, let's open the drum and check results of our adjustments and the final print. So far we really like this print. It's not easy to capture this type of moments on a medium format. Hasselblad is more or less small camera, but anyway it's completely not fast camera. And if you can capture any type of kind of a street photo or street moments, it's quite nice and always good to have in a collection. I really like the colors in this picture and exposure itself. Nevertheless, it's a Christmas time, and the picture about the Christmas shopping in the Copenhagen, how people pack everything on the bike and go visit the Christmas markets in a new heaven. And this picture still have a plenty of sharpness and dynamic range. So I have a pure blacks and I have a good whites, and my whites on the lights not really blown up, so you can even dial it down and more. I also want to thank everyone who actually purchased the prints from my website. This print and other prints from my Copenhagen collection I will also add on my shop. That's it for today, and thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.